Hello and welcome to a massive edition of the NBL1 Show thanks to Coles Express. I'm Megan Hustwaite. Pete Hooley is away this week and what a substitution we have in. Joining us at the desk is Dejan Vasiljevic, Sydney Kings championship player and NBL1 player too. Welcome, DJ.
Thank you for having me.
Great to have you here. It's been a huge couple of weeks for you. Let's start with the championship. How amazing was it?
Yeah, it was unreal. Obviously, we didn't start the season, the way we wanted to. I think we were 3-6 or 3-7 at the time, and a lot of people were doubting us. Chase Buford was on the hot seat, but once we got everyone healthy, we went on an incredible 13-game win streak, and to win the playoffs 5-0 and win the championship for the first time in 17 years was unreal. Honestly, it really was. How
special was this team? Because it's not often, well, it's almost never that you have the same team going forward. So how special was this group?
I think we understood that if we were to win, this would be the last time we'd probably play as a team together.
Yeah.
So obviously, when you win, everyone's price goes up and people move on, so we just wanted to, keep playing hard and do it for everyone that was part of the team.
And what was the crowd like in Sydney?
Oh, it was unreal. That game 3, we had, I think, just over 16,000 to break the record, and it was nuts. Like, for that big of a stadium and to play in front of that was unreal. And so was Tassie. I think I'm victim number one down there. And, after the tweet went out yesterday that I re-signed, there was a lot of Tassie fans, waiting for me to come down. And
really?
Yeah, it was like in good spirits and stuff.
Way.
And yeah, I can't wait to play down there.
Now you're the villain in a fun way with Tassie because you sunk that massive 3 that was the dagger in game 2. Can you take us through that moment?
To be honest, I really thought Ian Clark was going to make a move and try and finish, but it was just me kept creeping behind him because he loves to go left. So I was waiting for him to go left and kind of just create a window there that he could see me if he needed to. And I knew I was going to shoot it regardless. There was about 3 or 4 seconds left on the shot clock. So, when you're a shooter and a scorer, you just let it fly and you know it's going to go in. So
was it the best feeling when it went in?
I think it was just so loud in there, and then when I made it, it was like you could hear a pin drop. It went so quiet. So no, it was unreal. Like without my teammates and stuff like that, like it just doesn't happen. So I give full credit to them.
Now, as you mentioned, some big news yesterday. You've re-signed with the Kings for the next 3 years, which is huge for you, the club, and the NBL. Was it ever in doubt that you'd do that?
I mean, to be honest, I was looking, into Europe and NBA, and that's still an option. We've negotiated well with Sydney to have, the outs, and obviously I'll be going to the Summer League, which is kind of in the talks right now. So I'll get on the phone with my agent probably after this show. But I always wanted to come back to Sydney. Obviously, the trust in CP and Chase Buford and the ownership, and who wouldn't want to play for Sydney again?
So you'll go to America and try your luck over there. How exciting is that? Because, you've got some momentum and some form behind you. Do you feel like you're ready to take that next step?
I'm a little nervous, to be honest. Like, I don't get nervous that often, but I think just playing against guys who are much older, athletic, stronger. So I'm trying to use this period of playing the NBL1 to kind of work on different types of moves and tactics to kind of just outsmart them a little bit. And that's how it was in college as well. So I look forward to it.
Love that. On NBL1, you're playing for Diamond Valley. Now, you played for Diamond Valley in the Big V before you went to college. So is it great to be back there and playing with some old mates?
Yeah, 100%. A couple of my mates have told me they're probably going to retire after this year. So I think that was kind of the trigger point of going back there and playing with them. And obviously, my sister was going to go play for them as well, but unfortunately she suffered an ACL injury just before the season. So kind of just want to keep everything in the family, and Diamond Valley is a great organisation. Yeah,
well, they're very lucky to have you as we take a look at some of your highlights now, and there's a few more of those to look at, and we'll talk about that a little bit later in the show. But we're going to crack on now and have a look at some of the action from NBL1 South at the weekend. We'll start with the men's competition, and Sandringham, David Aquera had the game-winning block against South East Melbourne Phoenix player Ruben Durangi, and Sandringham Shea Illy was outstanding with 11 points, 13 rebounds and 9 assists. And there were also some other players that chimed in there, DJ.
Yeah, I mean, I'm liking what I'm seeing from these guys over the Tohu Smith-Milner and Dion Prewster, a bunch of great guys. And I think Shea Illy's got a lot of confidence. Obviously, he's had a great, season in the NBL, and he's just going to keep riding into next season as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, fresh off his new contract, going back to the Bullets, Harry Froling scored 19 points and had 9 rebounds in Hobart's win over the Bendigo Braves. And we know there's been a bit of movement in the NBL, and with Gorge not coaching the Hawks, Harry's gone back to the Bullets, so a big move for him.
Yeah, I think that'll be a perfect fit for him. Obviously, James Duncan, loves the stretch 4, and Harry can play the 5 as well. So he'll definitely be a great fit with JD up there in Brisbane, and big congratulations to him.
Melbourne United star Jack White had 27 points and 14 rebounds in the Super Cats' 6-point loss to the Frankston Blues. Former South East Melbourne and Breakers forward Daniel Triss scored 31 with 6 rebounds for the Blues. Jack White, we know that he had that terrible injury, but it's a wonderful basketball story to see him bat rolling both in the NBL and the NBL1.
Yeah, I think we're both using NBL1 to kind of get that confidence, because I know he's going to go over the Summer League. He definitely deserves it, and I'm proud of him. Obviously, we both went through something that no one ever wants to go through in a sports career, and just to see him back playing the way he did, and I think he's playing way better than he was before he got injured, so full credit to him.
Now let's take a look at your stat line from the weekend, DJ. 15 points, 10 rebounds and 8 assists on Saturday night, and then you followed it up on Sunday with 31 points among 2 important wins. So it was a big weekend for your guys.
Yeah, it was. Obviously, we lost a few, and we dropped one at Bendigo last 2 weekends ago. So just to come back and kind of do what we did and get 2 big wins was big for the club.
You mentioned some of the things you're working on in NBL1. What kind of things are you focusing in on in terms of your own game?
Just becoming a point guard, really. Obviously, I'm 6'3", and I'm a 2-man here in Australia, but I'll be an undersized 2-man if I go over there. So just trying to get my teammates involved, create shots against, much, longer and athletic guys. So, and I'm trying to shoot, longer threes. So my dad doesn't like it, but it's called practice for me.
Your dad doesn't like it?
No, he's not a big fan of it. He says they're called so far dumb shots to him, but again, when you make them, they're not really that dumb.
Well, speaking of big shots, let's take a look at some of the action from NBL1 South women's competition over the weekend. There was a sense of deja vu for Gemma Potter. 1-point win in overtime for Dandenong. Gemma Potter had 26 points and 9 rebounds, while Emily Harmon continued her huge season with 35 points and 12 rebounds. Now, another Sydney player, Funda Nakasoglu, had 38 points, 8 of 10 3-pointers. Funda made a sidestep 3 with a hand in her face with 40 seconds left to make it a 1-point game, followed by Brittany Smart deep 2 to give the Sabres the lead. But Gemma Potter made a buzzer beater 3 to win the game, and that's the second time she's done it in a few weeks. And another player that's had a lot of injury issues over the last few years. So it's just great to see players come back to basketball, the sport they love, find some form, and I guess moments like that really do give you confidence after horrible injuries.
Yeah, 100%. She's coming off an ACL injury or something like that. So, big props to her to come back and, again, playing with a lot of confidence. I think that's her second buzzer beater this season. So, just let the ball, give it to her. She's going to make them. So she's got a lot of confidence, and kudos to her.
Well, moving on to another Froling, Alicia, the lefty. She told us a few weeks ago how she's become a left-hander. It's working great guns for her. She scored 31 points and had 9 rebounds in Knox's 4-point win over Casey. Monique Conti scored 19 points and 5 rebounds for Casey. And then Maddie Garrick stole the show for Keilor with 40 points, 6 assists and 5 rebounds in a 7-point win over Waverley. Well, let's head north now and take a look at some of the men's action from the weekend. We'll start with the Gold Coast Rollers, who stay undefeated, and a veteran in Jason Kadee scored 27 points and 7 assists. An NBL free agent, Tanner Curbs, added 32 points with 11 rebounds. They are good numbers for Tanner. He keeps putting them up this season, and he's doing his chances of another NBL contract pretty well.
100%. I might have to get on the phone to JD after this and let him know that Tanner's been playing really well, and he can do this. He just needs a chance. So, I think this NBL1 season will give him great confidence, and he definitely deserves a contract somewhere for sure. He's an NBL player to me. Absolutely.
Mackay and Logan went down to the wire. Can you tell us a little bit about that game, DJ?
Yeah, my teammate Jalen, obviously the Bunnies, big poster slam in that third quarter, which was good to see, and then obviously making the free throws. He's been practicing a lot with me lately, so good to see them get the win. But obviously Obi Kai, had a massive swat as well, but ultimately not enough to get him over the line. And it's good to see Obi playing basketball again. Obviously, he was with Adelaide, took some time off, and now he's back in the NBL1 North. So good to see that.
Yeah, we love to have the best talent on display in NBL1. Speaking of the best talent and NBL contract news, fresh off his signing with Adelaide, a particular player had a huge weekend too.
Yeah, Anthony Drimmick had 27 and 10. Obviously, good to see him kind of rolling, and obviously he can always play like that. He had some injury problems with his ankle as well. So for him to come back and do what he's doing, and obviously Mitch McCarron, he's a triple-double machine as it is. So it'll be good to see them both, suiting up in the 36ers colours next year.
Well, how good is it that they're able to sort of get that chemistry going now, heading into an NBL season?
Yeah, it'll be very good. Obviously, CJ's doing great things, and obviously we're bringing Drimmick in, and yeah, it's just going to be interesting to see. Obviously, we're going to have to shut him down when we play, but it just gives him confidence because he's been a great player for a long time.
Yeah, absolutely. Moving on to women's action now. Courtney Woods, the Townsville star, keeps doing her thing. She had 26 points, 7 boards and 6 assists, leading her Townsville Flames to the win over the Rockhampton Cyclones. Townsville without Steph Reid, who made her Opals debut at the weekend. Congratulations to Steph. And their coach, Shannon Seabohm, who's an Opals assistant coach. So as much as we've lost a bit of talent over the weekend in NBL1, it's great to have them representing the Opals. In Rockhampton's win, Janan Otto scored 31 points, making 4 of 8 three-pointers, and Michaela Roof had a rare 20-20 double-double of 20 points and 21 rebounds in Logan's 40-point domination over Mackay. 40 points is a huge margin, isn't it, in a very tight conference?
Yeah, 100%. I've been 40-balled this year against United, so I know that feeling. So yeah, 40 points is very, very rare.
Now, a familiar name for all of us, but particularly DJ in Sydney, Kalani Purcell stuffed the stat sheet with 14 points, 21 boards, which is incredible, 14 assists and 5 steals and 3 blocks in the dominant win over the Northside Wizards, who were without Charlotte Hill, who's playing for the Opals at the moment. But in her place, Tiana Mangakahi stepped up with 39 points, 10 rebounds and 5 assists in the 22-point loss to the Southern Districts Spartans. Both teams are currently tied for third on the ladder. So speaking of Kalani Purcell, let's head up to Queensland and chat to her now. Time to head up to Queensland now and catch up with our special guest this week on the NBL1 Show. Her name is Kalani Purcell and she plays for Southern Districts, and she joins us today. Welcome, Kalani.
Hello.
Is it a bit warmer in Queensland than it is right now in Melbourne?
Probably, but I kind of think it's a bit cold right now, but...
Things are heating up for you guys at the Spartans. Tell us a bit about your season to date.
Yeah, I think it's probably started a bit, maybe not as we wanted, with a few people out in our first game, and then obviously losing our second game to Logan. But from there, I think we've just, kind of gotten better each week, which is the important thing. And so, yeah, it's been pretty fun though.
You're teaming up with Nadine Payne on the court. What's that partnership been like?
It's really good. This is the second year now that we play together in the off season, and both of us really like playing with each other. It's really nice to be able to play with someone that plays in the WNBL as well, and to be able to bring that high level basketball into NBL1. Yeah.
Well, we've got a Sydney theme today on the show. DJ is with us at the desk. Sydney King, you're a Sydney Flame. You've just re-signed with the Flames for next season. Tell us a bit about what the team is building in Sydney.
Yeah, so I actually talked to Shane, I think maybe last week or a couple of weeks ago, and he's really, really excited for this next season coming, and I think for the next few seasons, it's going to be really exciting to see how we go, especially because last year, we, didn't quite, we weren't quite as at the place that we wanted to be. But, only losing, I think, majority of our games by less than 10 points is a huge thing for such a young team that we had last year. And so being able to build on that and building it into this next season and more seasons to come, I think we got, some real good places to go.
Yeah, obviously it's exciting to see with the Flames are, signing talent-wise. But what do you reckon you're doing the most to kind of improve, to bring into the WNBL next season?
I think just, I guess something that I really am trying to work on is not kind of falling into bad habits and keeping the same level that I played at last season into NBL1, and then obviously taking it into the next WNBL season. So I think just trying to keep the same, level of intensity and trying to, I guess, remain fit and stuff like that so I can play the kind of game that I want to play.
Now, you came up against one of your soon-to-be Sydney teammates at the weekend in NBL1 in Tiana Mangakar here. What are you looking forward to most about playing alongside Tiana for Sydney?
Yeah, she's obviously like a really, really talented player. And I think that something that I think she'll be able to demonstrate really well is just her basketball IQ. She's got really good court vision, and she's a really good, I guess, point guard or two-man. I'm not really sure how they're going to deal with work with that, but to have Shyla and Tiana going together, being the 1 and 2, I think it'll be quite something to see.
And you mentioned Shyla, she's playing in NBL1 as well, but currently playing for the Opals. Have you been watching the Opals games over the last couple of days?
No, I haven't. I am currently just moving into my new house, so I've been a bit busy. But I've heard they've been doing pretty well. I've been messaging a couple of the girls over their little camp/game period. So yeah.
Is moving house the worst thing ever, or what?
Yeah, well, the moving out is the worst. Moving in's not too bad.
Well, we wish you well with the move and for the rest of the NBL1 season. Thanks for joining us on the show today. We're also looking forward to your campaign with the Flames. Thanks, Kalani.
See you, Kalani.
Thank you.
Great to catch up with Kalani Purcell. Let's move on now and take a look at all of the action in NBL1 East from the round at the weekend. We'll start with Maitland and Albury. It went down to the wire, each team sharing blows. Maitland had 4 starters in double digits and a former Perth Wildcat stood up.
Yeah, Lachlan Cummings had 23 points with teammate Hamish Warden also matched him with 22 points and 10 rebounds. Obviously, the game-winning tip from Sharif Watson came in the final seconds to win it for Maitland.
So some great highlights there from that game. In Canberra's win, Glenn Morrison scored 23 points and brought down 16 boards. And former Santa Cruz Warrior and American import Kiwi Gardner, in 34 minutes, had 40 points, 9 rebounds and 5 assists for the Illawarra Hawks in their 28-point win over the North Bears. He's been putting up some massive numbers.
Yeah, I haven't seen much, but I've heard from Angus Glover that he's a really, really good player. So I might have to check his highlights out for sure.
You can check them out on the NBL1 app and our social media. Of course, they've been all over Instagram. Our teammate Fletcher McDonald had 20 points and 19 rebounds. Huge double-doubles across all conferences at the weekend. To the women's action now, and in the North Bears' dominant 42-point win over third place Sutherland, Emily Simmons had 32 points and 5 rebounds. Now, Emily is a busy bee because she works on the local organising committee for the FIBA Women's World Cup, which will be in September this year. So she's doing big things on and off the court at the moment. Her teammate Kate Seabohm dished 16 assists and 10 points in that game. Sutherland, of course, without Lauren Nicholson on Opal's duty. Norths currently sit on top of the ladder. Now, it wouldn't be an NBL1 East women's update without mentioning the GOAT. 100%. Can you believe the Lauren Jackson story, DJ? 41 years old, out of retirement, retired in 2016, and she is dominating NBL1 East.
Feels like she hasn't missed a beat, honestly. She's come back and all I've seen is 30-plus points, 20-plus rebounds, sometimes even under 20 minutes. So just to see her back, and it'll be cool to see if she actually does come back and play for Australia at the World Cup.
Do you think she can?
Oh, I think so.
Yeah.
I mean, you take 12 players, and I think it'll be great to have a veteran like that. And, just the presence of her, if she does play or if she doesn't, just having someone on the bench, just controlling and being through all the Olympics, the World Cups, and having that experience can help the Opals go a long way.
It's an incredible story, isn't it? Because you're in your early 20s, so when you were a kid growing up, she would have been at the peak of her powers. So do you remember her dominating and being a household name when you were a kid?
Yeah, 100%. I remember watching some WNBA games when she played for the Seattle Storm, and she was just unreal. Obviously, she's in the Hall of Fame for a reason and stuff like that. So, full kudos to her. I really hope I see her at the World Cup, because if I'm in Sydney, I'm definitely going to go watch.
You'll be there.
100%.
Love that. So LJ, again, proved she was the GOAT. She had 33 points and 7 rebounds in Albury's 35-point win over Newcastle. She was courtside for the Opals friendlies against Japan on Friday night. Spoke to Michelle Timms at halftime. She was asked about a comeback in the green and gold, played her cards pretty close to her chest, but we'll wait and see what happens in September. And that ties into the friendly games, because Japanese guard for Albury, Ai Yamanda, was crafty as usual in the second game of round 8. She had 27 points and 8 assists, while LJ continued her streak with a double-double of 34 points and 11 rebounds. In that second game, Michaela Domkins had 30 points for Maitland, which was great to see, a former WNBL player herself, and she's being coached by her partner, Leilani Mitchell, former Opals guard and 2-time Olympian. So great to see some big names in that weekend round of NBL1. We'll head to NBL1 Central now and take a look at some of the women's action. Some familiar names as usual. The Splash Sisters. Pete isn't here to talk about them this week, but South Adelaide defeated Sturt. Olivia Levecki and Ashley Spencer both had 20 points in the 8-point victory. Sabres' Meg Prosser had 19 points in the close game. And then the Eastern Mavericks, Bridget Lefebvre-Oka scored 24 points with 13 boards, but ultimately fell short as West Adelaide's Sky Langenbrink and Jasmine Fijo, our guest last week on the NBL1 show, had 23 points each. We'll move on to the men now, and the 2022 MAAC Men's Basketball All-Championship team recipient. That's a bit of a mouthful, DJ. Lucky I've had 3 coffees. Jacob Rigoni scored 31 points with 15 rebounds in Sturt's win over South Adelaide. A star of the future, obviously.
Yeah, I actually played him my senior year of college.
Really?
Yeah, he came, I forgot what team he played for. Was it PIAC maybe? Yeah, and he was competitive. He was a starter, played the power forward spot, and actually held one of our top leading scorers to, I think it was single digits. So big talent. I can't wait to see what his future holds for sure.
South Adelaide's Jeremy Smith had 29 in the 7-point defeat. And then in Forestville's 5-point loss, former Adelaide 36, Adam Jaw had 18 points and 13 assists, and his teammate Jack Purchase stood up too.
Yeah, free agent as well. Obviously Perth didn't give him much of a chance, but when he wants to shine, he can. So again, another free agent that maybe Adelaide could pick up as a 10th or 11th man to help him off that bench. A
17-point, 10-rebound double-double for Jack. Norwood got the win with 15 or more points from 3 players. Walter McBride led the way with 20 and 8 rebounds. And in the 1-point win, North Adelaide's Apiok Dow had 26 points and 9 rebounds. Central District Lions' Magok Mangyang iced 2 free throws to bring it within 1, but the team could not close out the win. He finished with 15 points and 8 rebounds, but the game's hero was Dylan Marshall with a fadeaway.
Yeah, he didn't paint with a hand in his face to give North the lead, with finishing the game with a clutch steal. So, congrats to them.
Always an exciting finish and lots of highlights in NBL1 Central. Let's move west now. We'll start with Marshall Nelson, who had one of the best games in the entire country this round with 39 points and 5 rebounds for Rocky in a win against Willerton. Despite the loss, Willerton's Ollie Hayes-Brown continued his strong form with a double-double of 19 points and 13 rebounds. Is there a better hairdo going around in Australian basketball?
No. Obviously Luke Travers might be up there, but this man's got it for sure. So the mullet boys, the brothers right there.
I love that. And Geraldton remain on top and undefeated by beating the Eastern Suns. Blake Muna had led the way for the Bucks with 31 points, 5 rebounds and 5 assists. As we take a look now finally at the West women's action, the undefeated Joondalup kept rolling with a nail-biting 80-77 victory over Mandurah. Tage Morrell was Joondalup's best with 22 points and 7 rebounds. Her season just continues to roll on. She is so consistent. Park SRA was unstoppable for Perth in their win against East Perth, the two rivals going head-to-head on court. She had 25 points and 15 rebounds. And then Coburn's dynamic duo of Jessie Edwards, 32 points, 16 rebounds, and Catherine Tudor, 28 points and 10 boards, proved too much for Perth as the Cougars recorded a 17-point win. Now, a Coburn great in NBL1 and previously State League is Fleur McIntyre, your championship assistant coach at the Kings. How amazing is Fleur?
The greatest, I reckon, greatest person ever, honestly. Like, she's so chill, she's so relaxed, she knows the game really well. And she kind of keeps Chase Buford under control, really. So big shout out to Fleur. She was actually one of the first to message me after I signed yesterday. So yeah, I love Fleur to death.
Yeah, she's a great human, that's for sure. And I love that she's been a player, a coach, an administrator, Coburn and throughout the state leagues in WA. And she's gone through the pathways right to a championship in her first season with the NBL. So it's a wonderful pathway to see, and we love that in
First
NBL1.
female coach to win a championship.
Yes.
So big shout out to Fleur.
Absolutely, and only 5 women have coached in the NBL, so amazing that she's the 5th and the first to win a championship, so hopefully back to back.
100%. I hope so, that's the goal for us.
DJ, it's been awesome having you in here today. What's coming up for you this week? You guys have got a big game against Kilsyth.
Yeah, we play Saturday night against Kilsyth at home, so it'll be good to kind of get that, rolling. We have a good couple of days of practice, and yeah, look forward to it. So yeah, good week basketball ahead.
We look forward to seeing what's next for you. Thanks so much for coming in today.
Thank you very much.
And good luck for the next few months. Thanks for joining us on the show, and we'll see you next week back on Tuesday. Thanks to Coles Express. Enjoy the upcoming round of NBL1.